July 20th, 2012 is a big day, or it was a big day for Warner Bros. It is the premiering night of The Dark Knight Rises, the third installment to their trilogy where Christopher Nolan was Batman. Their second movie, The Dark Knight, broke $1 billion in box office sales, which is in the top 20 highest all-time box office movies. The Century 16 Theater in Aurora, Colorado has multiple showings that night for the premiere. At 1:27 a.m., a netizen in Denver, Colorado is listening to the police scanner, and he hears the Aurora police say through the radio, because anyone can listen to it, and they say, "Bring as much crime scene tape as you can." The police scanners had been going crazy the whole night. 3:15 and 3:14 for a shooting at Century Theaters. These are actual, what they literally said on the scanners. They're saying somebody is shooting in the auditorium. There's at least one person that's been shot, but they're saying hundreds of people are running around. 2 minutes later, an officer at the scene radios, 453, I have a party shot here, I need rescue. Another person outside, shot in the leg, female, we got people running out of the theater, they're shot. Then another officer, somebody's spraying gas in here too. Another officer, do we have gas masks available? Any units that can bring gas masks to Theater 9. Again, we need gas masks. Then another officer comes on a little more urgent. Get us some damn gas masks for Theater 9. We can't get in. We need rescue inside auditorium, multiple victims. Then another officer. Do I have permission to start taking some of these victims via car? I got a whole bunch of people shot out here, no rescue. Then a more urgent voice. I've got a child victim. I need rescue at the back door of the Theater 9 now. The emergency exit door to Theater 9 would open in the middle of a movie, and a man with bright orange hair wearing tactical gear would walk into the theater, and he will open fire. 12 people would be killed from the events of July 20th. Many of the survivors are clearly still suffering. I mean, I would say all. Many are dealing with severe PTSD, anxiety, depression, permanent physical injuries, paralysis, loss of control over bodily functions, amputations, chronic pain. Many still have pieces of bullets in them because it would be more dangerous to take them out. And it's likely that all of them deal with some level of guilt. Not that they should, but the brain just works in those ways. One survivor said, I still wonder every day how I got out of there and how I'm a survivor and they're not. I think about them and I think about all the people that lost their lives every single day.
Guys, I have a very important announcement. We got merch, bitches. I don't have pants on. Like, look at this. Who is she? Ooh, what's that? That's my merch, bitch. But wait, there's more. Here's the second design, like, ooh, super simple, right? Just says Horror Chronicles. Nope. Do you see that? Do you fucking see that? Put the other one back on so that I can show you the design of the back of this one. It's my very own Necronomicon. Are you kidding me? So I didn't design these guys. I'm not creative at all, and I have like no talent. However, Justin, my friend Justin, designed them for me. I'm gonna tag him down here because he's Slasher Talk Horror, and if you don't follow him, you're a silly fucking goose. Go follow him. He's a super talented graphic designer, but he's also a horror lover, and I can't thank him enough. But there's more, okay? Because we got sweatshirts, baby. I can't put this on right now because it's 97,000 degrees, but this is the most comfortable thing I've ever worn in my fucking life. I feel like I look weird in hats, like I'm just like simply not a hat girl, but like we got fucking hats. We got hats. And there's more. I took these designs and I fucking ran with them because they are so amazing. Long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, tumblers, posters. I don't even know what else we went by. Crew necks, tank tops, mugs. Like I went insane. I went fucking insane. Me and my family and friends might be the only people that buys this, but I don't care. I don't care because I fucking love it and it's so cozy. I got this in an extra large because I obviously like my shit to be baggy so I can just not wear pants with it. But there's colors too. There's different colors. So I obviously did black, and I think black is the best way to do it on because that's what it's like designed to be on, but you can do colors. Live it up, sis. Yeah, so by the time I'm posting this, the link is dropped. The link is live. Yeah, so check it out. And if you get anything, you're the coolest person alive. And I love you forever. Bye. Art the Clown strikes a fucking again, baby. And nobody is safe. Seeing Art the Clown dressed as Santa Claus going on an absolute rampage is something that I did not know I needed in my life. I just saw the world premiere of Terrifier 3 at Fantastic Fest. And just when you think Art can't get any more insane and unhinged, he fucking does. Let me preface this by saying I might be biased because I met the whole cast and crew of the movie before going in, and it was just such a surreal experience, like seeing them all there, watching this movie with all of my friends. But I also personally am already biased because anything that Art the Clown is in, I'm gonna fucking love. And I will also be the first one to say, nobody watches Terrifier for the plot. Let's be real. Like, you watch it to see which crazy shit Art does next. The opening kill of this movie just tells you how absolutely ruthless it's going to be. Art the Clown is at his fucking peak in this movie, and I say that confidently. He also has so much more personality in this movie, like he's just so much more engaging and fun, but psychotic at the same time. Like you're gonna find yourself laughing at him, but being terrified of him at the same time. Does it top the bedroom scene? I don't think there's any one particular scene in this movie that tops the bedroom scene. However, I think that there are more scenes like the bedroom scene. Like, this movie is going to give you a lot of creative kills, and the practical effects in it are fucking top tier. This is Art the Clown at his fucking peak, and this is my favorite Terrifier movie in the franchise. It's the best one. There's also so much development in Sienna's character, and she's just such a fucking bad bitch in the end. This movie honestly sets us up perfectly for a Terrifier 4, and Damien Leone at the premiere did confirm that Terrifier 4 is happening, so this is not the last we're going to see of Art. Let's be real, I am the fucking target audience for Terrifier. This movie is a 10 out of 10 for me. If you love blood, you love gore, and you love Art the Clown just being fucking insane, you're gonna love this. For those of you who want to watch Terrifier for the plot and don't really like blood and gore, you're not gonna like it. And that's totally fine. But again, if you want to see some people be chopped up and see some really kick-ass practical effects, you gotta fucking watch Terrifier 3. For everybody asking about the kids in this movie, all I'm gonna say is Art the Clown's philosophy here is fuck them kids. Like, when I said nobody is safe, nobody is safe.
Did you watch all of that John Oliver thing?
Yeah.
The part with the Microsoft, the Twitter account?
Oh, yeah.
The chick, what was her name? It was like Ashley or something?
Yeah.
It was an AI that they gave their own Twitter account. And it would self-learn just from interacting. And within, it was like 20 minutes, right? In 20 minutes, this AI became very anti-Semitic and was like, Hitler had it right. And Microsoft freaked out, and they immediately like pulled it, like, oh my gosh, we can't do this. But it's just like,
Why? Why is that?
it was just self-learning. So people were just like, it like attracted apparently anti-Semitic people that were commenting on it, and it learned to like interact with them because it started with like,
These guys seem cool.
yeah. Well, it started out with like, hi, this is a great day. What a beautiful, like, sunshine, whatever. And then, like, 20 minutes later, it's like, Hitler was right.
Oh, my
And it's like,
God.
no!
Pull it down! Pull the plug!
So, yeah,
That's
AI.
crazy.
Yeah.
A film director was charged with murder and was arrested because he was accused of unaliving his cast members to make his horror movie seem more realistic. Cannibal Holocaust is considered to be one of the most controversial films of all time, and it's also considered to be one of the first, if not the first, found footage films. The basic plot of the movie is that a film crew travels to the Amazon to film a documentary on some indigenous cannibal tribes in the area. But the film crew never returns, so they actually send a second group out to try to find out what happened. The second group comes into contact with some of these native people, and then they actually find the remains of the first film crew as well as the film equipment. They make a trade and they return back to their home with the film equipment, and they are going to watch the footage. Once they watch the footage, they are horrified to realize all of the film crew members were actually committing horrific acts against the native people and filming it for the documentary and framing the natives for it. They commit so many violent acts, essay, unaliving. They also slaughter animals on camera, and they actually did slaughter the animals for real for the making of the actual film. That's another reason why the actual movie is so controversial, because they actually killed, I think it was 3 animals for the sake of the movie. But audiences as well as police thought that the gore was way too realistic, and the director was actually arrested under accusation that he actually killed these actors for real. And it didn't help that all of the actors that met their untimely demise in the film, they actually had signed contracts to not go out in public for a year after the film's release to make it more realistic. They had to come out of hiding and basically be like, hey, we are alive, we are still here, the director did not do anything to us, and then he was released. The film was still banned in several countries, and it also got the director an obscenity charge. Many consider this to be a very, very important film in the horror genre because of the message. I myself have not watched it. I don't want to watch anything where things happen to real animals. That upsets me quite a bit. Another reason that I don't want to watch this film, this director was accused of mistreating multiple cast members, and multiple cast members did not want to unalive these animals, and they were literally crying and vomiting on set, and they were forced to do it anyway, or they forced another person on the set to do it. And some of the female crew members, when it came to explicit scenes or SA scenes, they were uncomfortable showing different parts of their bodies, and the film director just screamed at them until they complied. So there are several reasons why I don't think I'm going to cover this anymore.
The Villages in Florida, it's the biggest retirement community cult in the world. And it's known as the STD capital.
Yeah.
You have to be 55 and older to be in this community.
That's weird.
Yeah. Around the village, they drive golf carts, right? And on the golf carts, there's different colored loofahs that they put on. And that signals what they're into.
So this is cool.
Yeah, it is.
What do the loofahs signify, if you know?
The Villages, it's known for and loofahs, there's colors to them. Each one, it just means something.
So the white one is novices and beginners. The purple one is people who like to watch. And then the pink one is soft swap, people who like to do it with others in the room.
Oh.
Imagine all the old people just going there to retirement home, fam.
Young.
After arresting Giselle's husband, Dominique, for filming upskirt videos in a supermarket, they searched his devices, and in a folder on a USB, the folder is called Abuses. They find nearly 20,000 digital files. Inside that folder, they found new subfolders, at least 80 of them, each with names and sexual acts. The name of each man that came to SA his wife, Giselle, had their own folder. From 2011 till 2020, for almost 10 years, Giselle did not know that her own husband of 50 years was drugging her so that she could be essayed by strange men from the internet. There are at least 72 suspects in this case. Only 51 have been ID'd and tracked down and are going on trial currently. Their ages range from 26 years old to 73 years old. They seem so ordinary, these perpetrators. They have regular jobs. One is a firefighter. There's an IT worker from a bank, a prison guard, a nurse, journalists, soldiers, carpenters, truck drivers. The firefighter is said to have essayed Giselle wearing parts of his firefighter uniform. So it seems like it was agreed upon, like he wanted to wear parts of his uniform because it would help with his fantasy. These people were described in France as Mr. Everybody. That's the terminology they use, meaning that they could be anybody. It could be everybody. Many of them are fathers to very young children. Most of them are married in relationships. Others are single. Some of them are grandparents. One of them only lives a few blocks away within walking distance of Giselle and Dominique's house. Most of them are facing 20 years in jail for aggravated assault if they're convicted. And a few of them are accused of coming back as many as 6 times to assault Giselle. And 5 of them, while their electronics were searched, they found CP on their computers. Giselle does not remember or cannot identify a single one of them except that neighbor. The reason that this is a big deal is in France, it is Giselle and the victim's right to have a closed door trial so that they can live the rest of their lives without the press and media hounding them. They can live in anonymity, which is arguably probably the best for healing. Nobody knows what happened. You get to heal in peace. The perpetrators will still be tried. They'll go to prison, but it won't be public. But that is not what Giselle wants. She and her daughter Caroline have been speaking with other victims of chemical submission, and they say, why should the perpetrators get away easy? Why should they get to hide from the shame? Giselle would be the one to request the trial be public. She said the 51 men involved should be confronted with the public gaze. She said they should answer for their crimes to all the people. Giselle says you cannot want to help victims if you yourself are ashamed of being one. She refuses to have closed door proceedings because, quote, that's what the attackers would have wanted. She wants the shame to change sides, so it's no longer on the side of the victims, but the shame should be with the perpetrators. And as for right now, the trials are currently ongoing. They are expected to reach a verdict by December 20th of this year. The story of what happened July 20th, 2012 in Aurora, Colorado. There's enough seats in the movie theater to fit about 400 people, and almost all these seats are going to be filled by midnight. These seats are first come, first serve. So if somebody doesn't want to sit in the first few rows with their neck bent at an odd angle, staring up at the screen the whole night, then they're going to come earlier to reserve those spots. Now, almost 3 years later, some of the same moviegoers from that night would be asked to come in and point out exactly which chair in which row did you sit at when it all happened. But this auditorium they're in, they're not pointing at real chairs that you can sit in. They're not walking into a movie theater and saying, that's the chair that I sat in. In fact, it's this tiny little miniature model of Theater 9 that they're pointing at. There's tiny little rows of blue chairs that are lined up against each other. Many of the same moviegoers, they walk up, they'll point and explain exactly how it all happened. But 12 of the people that were in the theater that night will not be able to tell the courtroom where they were, because July 20th, 2012, the emergency exit door to Theater 9 would open in the middle of a movie, and a man with bright orange hair wearing tactical gear would walk into the theater. This is the midnight premiere of Batman: The Dark Knight Rises, and he will open fire.
Do you know how to tell if a burglar is targeting your house to rob you?
That's honestly one of my biggest fears.
Yeah, it is for me too. But what if I told you there's a way that you can actually tell if someone's planning to rob your house?
How would you know?
So there's many articles and reports, and the first sign a burglar is targeting your home is if you get like a bunch of random news ads or like advertisements on your front door. They do this as a way to find out if you're home. So if you don't grab the advertisement off the front door, they know that no one's home.
I get those all the time, but I just throw them away.
So studies found that robbers tend to work in groups, and what they do is they'll put symbols on people's houses and sometimes on their front door to like signal to their other partners like if this house is good to rob. So if they put a letter D on your house, that means your house is too risky or too dangerous for them to rob. But if they put a box with an X in it, that means this is a good house to rob. And if you see a circle with an X in it, that means the house has nothing worth stealing, so don't waste your time robbing this house. But this is where it gets scary. If you see a box overlapping another box, that's like a symbol saying that the owners of the house are really weak and nervous. So this is like a really easy house to rob.
Dude, that's actually really freaky.
Yeah, and if you ever go home and you lift up your front doormat and you see like a cookie. So studies found that robbers tend to work in groups, and what they do is they'll put symbols on people's houses.
Imagine getting murdered and your killer attends your funeral. This is the case of Clare Tiltman that stunned Dartford. It was January 1993 in Greenhithe in Kent. Clare Tiltman was 16 years old and was in year 11 at Dartford Grammar School. She was a very charismatic girl and was really well liked. It was a dark evening at around 7 p.m. on the 13th of the month. A man named Michael Godfrey was driving along the road with his colleague Ron. Suddenly he was startled by a woman collapsed at the side of the road. She looked like she was in pain, so he pulled the car over and immediately ran over to help her. Ron also ran to a nearby pub to call for help, and Michael tried to speak to the girl, but she was really struggling to breathe. That's when he noticed she was covered in blood. He did try and give her CPR, but unfortunately she had no chance. Her wounds were so severe that she passed away at the side of the road. Officers knew they needed to work out who had committed such a savage murder. Now they figured out that Claire had actually been to a corner shop and then made her way down a busy road. She then took a shortcut through down past some houses. It was there that she was ambushed in an alleyway. Officers had very little to go off. They didn't have any forensics and any eyewitnesses. They decided to trawl back through their previous case files. In 1988, there'd been a harrowing similar incident in which a man had taken a female from her home, arred her, and then stabbed her before leaving her for dead. This occurred very near to where Claire was then murdered 5 years later. They started wondering whether the two attacks were linked. As officers delved further into the investigation, Claire's grief-stricken family attended her funeral. Chillingly, her mum told people that she had a weird feeling that the killer was in attendance at the funeral, and she would be correct. Unfortunately, 2 years after Claire's murder, there was still no justice, and then there was a similar attack. Again, it was a young girl who'd been walking in the area, but miraculously she managed to play dead and therefore survived. An eyewitness at the time had spotted the local milkman's car in the area. The owner of the car was 24-year-old Colin Ash Smith. His home was searched and police found a knife. They soon identified that this was the exact knife that had been used in the most recent stabbing. They then also found his secret diary. Now this documented details of the 1988 stabbing. Colin had also used his diary to document plans to murder people in a care home. When police confronted him with the evidence, he did admit to both non-fatal stabbings. However, really strangely, Claire's murder wasn't documented in the journal. Colin's mum also gave him an alibi for the night of that murder. Claire's family wouldn't get justice for her for 21 years. Sadly, Claire's parents actually passed away without ever seeing anyone brought to justice for their daughter's murder. Then finally, while Colin was in prison, there was a breakthrough. He actually revealed to another prisoner some information about Claire's killing that only the police and the killer would have known. He was finally able to be charged with murder. It turned out that his alibi was false and his mum had lied. Colin's dad had even disposed of his murder weapon. His dad was given 12 months in prison for perverting the course of justice, and Colin was given life in prison.
En la antigüedad, una poderosa bruja fue quemada en la hoguera por manipular los sueños de las hijas del rey y de otros vecinos del pueblo. En el tribunal, las personas afectadas alegaron que veían su rostro en penumbra tejiendo un hilo dorado. La veían justo antes de despertar de sus pesadillas.
Apenas podemos dormir, y cuando lo hacemos, tenemos terribles pesadillas donde vemos a esta anciana.
Cuenta la leyenda que el alma de Marisa, la bruja, nunca murió, y que aún se mueve entre el más allá y nuestro plano. Esta bruja aparece cada noche tejiendo los peores miedos de su víctima. Transforma sus sueños en verdaderas prisiones de terror. Quienes caen bajo el hechizo de la tejedora de sueños se despiertan cada vez más agotados, como si no hubieran dormido. Las marcas de la pesadilla se trasladan al mundo real, ojeras pronunciadas, palidez extrema e incluso signos físicos como pequeñas líneas doradas que aparecen sobre la piel que corresponden a los hilos con los que la tejedora ha trabajado. Con el tiempo, la persona se va desmoronando, incapaz de diferenciar entre los sueños y la realidad, lo que lleva a episodios de locura o paranoia. En los casos más graves, aquellos que no logran escapar de su telar caen en coma, atrapados eternamente en la red de pesadillas tejida por la anciana. ¿Y tú, estás teniendo pesadillas últimamente? Te leo en comentarios.
Paris, France, August 24th of this year. A man named Pavel steps off his private jet at the airport right outside of Paris. He's mainly flying into Paris for a dinner. He's there with maybe a business partner, maybe a relative, maybe a dinner date. We don't know because he's very private, but he's there with a woman and his bodyguard. And right as he steps off, almost as if they're waiting for him, as he steps out of the airport, Paris authorities rush in and they detain this man. Within hours, if not minutes, honestly, his detainment is going to be news all around the world. Every major news publication is talking about the detainment of Pavel Durov. Pavel Durov is being investigated for the circulation of child abuse images, illegal drug peddling, and the refusal to cooperate with authorities. So why do people care? Sometimes it feels like these types of news are every day. Why is this making international headlines? Because Pavel Durov is worth $15.5 billion, and Pavel is the founder of Telegram. Meanwhile, approximately 5,500 miles away in Seoul, South Korea, an erase all faces panic has ensued. Middle schoolers, high schoolers, college students, teachers, military soldiers, professionals, they're busy trying to wipe their face from the internet. Not specific photos, literally any single selfie off of social media, no matter how innocent it is, they're going dark. They're deleting it all. Even local universities sent out these mass warnings to their students. The emergency notification urged students to please remove or avoid posting photos of themselves online, no matter how innocent. Photo deleted, photo can't be found, account can't be found. Everybody is just deleting their accounts. One high schooler said, "Most of the girls in my whole class took all of their photos off of social media." In response, a male university student wanted to help calm down the chaos. He's like, "You don't need to be that scared." He posted on the university forum for all the students because he noticed all of the people are just taking down all their photos. He said, "Read this first. Put a finger down and ask yourself. If you say yes, put a finger down. 1. Have I ever been asked out or confessed to? Joke confessions do not count. 2. Do a lot of men try to talk to me even though I haven't talked to them first? 3. Have I ever looked in the mirror and resented my parents? 4. Can other people recognize me without makeup on? 5. Do I weigh more than 145 pounds? 6. Do I frequent feminist online forums? 7. When I walk on the street, do children avoid me? If you said yes to 3 or more of the above questions, be relieved. You don't need to delete your photos off the internet. Your rate of being a deepfake victim is very, very low. We men have standards too. We don't just deepfake any woman. Why do women on Instagram and social media sites throw a fit as if they're victims of every situation? If you've answered yes to more than 3 questions, quit making such a fuss and commotion. But whatever, go ahead, hurry and delete your Instagram pictures and mock us men.
That's That's crazy.
Some girls said they were messaged by male classmates. Hey, you're safe. What do you mean? I told you you're safe. They only go after the pretty ones. Don't worry about it. Because the breaking news has been that while the Telegram founder has been arrested in Paris, South Korea is going through another Nthrum case where users are flocking to Telegram to share non-consensual, sexually explicit material of victims. We have 2 episodes on the first Nthrum cases in South Korea where women and girls were being blackmailed into providing quote content for sick men who are willing to pay to watch these girls get blackmailed and tortured. But now, the girls don't even know they're victims until it's too late. Some of them are even as young as middle schoolers, elementary schoolers, and it's very different this time because it's all deep-faked.
Monster fucker movies are making a huge comeback this year. If you have ever watched a movie and said, I want the girl to get with the monster at the end, this is the movie for you. Between Your Monster and Lisa Frankenstein, we're hearing so much noise for the monster boyfriends this year. I just watched this one and I have to tell you about it. Your Monster is a rom-com that focuses on an adult woman falling in love with a wolf-ish man. Melissa Barrera of Scream and Abigail fame stars as the leading actress. And this movie was honestly just straight up adorable and really, really funny. It's a classic rom-com format and it doesn't waste any time getting to the point. We meet the monster and we just go in from there. We just go straight through the rest of the movie. The characters had such cute banter together, felt very natural. It was very friends to lovers vibes, which I liked. There's something about it that's just so fun being a regular rom-com, but the love interest is a little hairier than usual and a little bit more wolf-like than usual. And I adore Melissa Barrera and I love the opportunity to support one of her projects. This film comes out next month. I got a screener to see it early. I really loved it. I recommend checking it out.
We've got a problem. Men might be going extinct. Science shows the human Y chromosome needed to make a man is fading away. A person's biological gender is determined by special chromosomes in their DNA, which come in 2 types, X and Y. If you have 2 X's, you get a female, but if you have 1 X and 1 Y, a male. A few years ago, researchers noticed that the Y chromosome required for men to exist has been shrinking over the past 200,000 years or so, with some experts estimating the Y chromosome to completely leave our DNA within the next 5 million years. And with our current DNA structure, no Y chromosome means no men. Obviously, having less men around would cause society to crumble, with reduced fertility rates leading to the entire human population to slowly decline into extinction. But still, other scientists claim that our DNA would adapt and move over to another chromosome to make males. Just like we see in species like the Amami spiny rat, who have no Y chromosome, yet the males are maling just fine, although they are endangered, aka on the verge of extinction. Are humans gonna share the same fate, or does our DNA have a trick up its sleeve? Guess we'll find out in about 5 million years.
Go away. Don't come any
there are approximately 260,000 taxis in South Korea. This particular chat room alone had 227,000 people on there. That means the likelihood of encountering a criminal in Korea is almost as high as finding a cab on the streets. Pretty much everyone that you can think of is getting affected in Korea. Anywhere between elementary school to teachers and soldiers, even Olympians. The athletes are getting deepfaked. Nurses from hospitals are getting sexualized and deepfaked. There are reports that some men are even sending in pictures of their own mother, their mom, to get deepfaked. There are some rooms just titled Kim's actual bathroom, so you can kind of take a guess on the theme of that Telegram room. A journalist went undercover into one of the deepfake nth room chat rooms, and they said some of these chat rooms are just run by bots. Right when you enter into the chat room, it immediately sends this automated message. Hello, I am Magic Photo Bot. Let's try to send the photo of the woman you like right now. You get one free photo to deepfake, but by the second one, you need to pay $1. $1 per photo is the structure here. The journalists create a fictional picture of a woman that they make through AI. Then, within 5 seconds of uploading that into the magic bot, the chat room bot sends an illegal video with that person's deep-faked photo on there. They said you could even change and adjust some of the body parts. Let's say you want a fuller chest. You could micro-adjust little things like that. This particular chat room alone had 227,000 people on there. 200,000 plus people are on here for the sole purpose of creating illegal deepfakes. Even if they all just create one free one, which is highly doubtful, what's the next phase? The next phase is the distribution phase. The damage is expected to be huge because there's so many chat rooms available for them to go to exchange these deepfakes, to post these deepfakes. Even if they just go to group chats made with their classmates, the damage is immense.
So if there's 220,000 people, if they only each make one, that's 220,000 victims.
Yes.
And if they make more, they make 5, they make 10, you're talking about millions of victims.
Yes, and there are questions of there could be foreigners in this chat, so we don't know if this is specific to South Korea, but I will say the whole chat room is in Korean. So I mean, the odds of foreigners being in this chat room, this is not me saying that this doesn't exist in other languages. I'm pretty certain it does. But for this specific one, for these 227,000 people to be exact, it seems like a good chunk are South Korean users.
Was it a tragic accident or a cold-blooded murder? The son of a wealthy, powerful family falls to his death in a rock climbing accident. Or did he? I was lucky enough to get an early screening of Killer Heat that is streaming right now on Prime Video, and this is a movie made for the true crime junkies like you and me. A star-studded murder mystery whodunit that will have you on the edge of your seat, second-guessing everyone until the twist ending. Chef's kiss. The film starts with Leo falling to his death and his twin brother's wife hiring a former NYPD detective to investigate if Leo's death was really an accident or if he was murdered. I know you guys know that this is my kind of movie. Mystery, crime, plot twists around every single corner. So definitely go watch Killer Heat that is streaming right now on Prime Video.
I can't believe people like this existed. In 1897, the townspeople of Green Olive, Oklahoma, claimed to have seen a man triple the size of any other man coming in and out of the wooded area that surrounded the town. A group of men, angered at the potential threat, stormed the woods looking for the supposed giant. After many hours of searching, the group stumbled across a ladder connected to a tree. One of the men, with a big grin on his face, said, "Don't worry, I'll make this quick." Shortly after, he climbed the ladder until he was no longer visible. 45 minutes passed, and the man had still not returned, causing the other men to become concerned. One by one, each man disappeared after attempting to climb the ladder, until there was only one man left. Even though he was terrified, the last remaining man climbed the ladder attached to the gigantic tree. After almost an hour of climbing, the man reached the top, and to his surprise, there was a beautiful home at the top of the tree with a giant door at the front. The scared man slowly walked up to the front door, and with shaking hands, opened it. To his surprise, he saw his friend sitting around a table playing poker with the giant. The giant looked at the man and said, "Hello, I'm Tiny Tim." And all the men would laugh, and one of the men telling Tiny Tim, "I love you, man." Tiny Tim would stand up from the table and say, "I'm glad you finally made it. I heard you had the most meat on your bones."
Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 271 spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, leave this video. This is the last page for Jujutsu Kaisen. The final page of Jujutsu Kaisen is Sukuna's finger. That's right, no Gojo return, no Gojo anything. This is the full panel to be exact. You have this beforehand with many reliable leakers saying that this is actually the final page. If this turns out to be the case and it's not a really good fake leak and it's an actual real leak, which it's seeming like it's going to be, this is pretty much what Giga Akutami just did to every single Gojo fanboy and fangirl on the entire planet. But I'm pretty sure that we can all agree that if this is actually the real final page, which, like I said, it's most likely is, there's got to be a part 2, bro, an epilogue of some sort, something to tie up the loose ends. It just feels like there could be something more with this, you know? Either way, though, this is the final page of Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, crazy.